Welcome to the Buylist. This is episode 20.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard, folks.
Man.
Ted, what are we talking about?
Oh, man. So we're back talking about some EV tonight, set by set. So we're going to be looking at Crucible, first Outsiders, Crucible at War, Crucible of War. Yes.
Of the wars.
Of War, and Arcane Rising. Picked Arcane Rising because, it does have strong ties to Monarch. Runeblade cards are in that set, so we'll take a look at it. But yeah, we can let's not wait any longer and look at Outsiders to start. So it looks like, again, this is 2 weeks of data, so we've been off last week, and so we're kind of looking over a 2 week span here. That date is wrong. It's not 5/19, it's 6/2 this data was taken on, so scratch that off the record. But down like about 4%, down to $74.50 ish. I think the last time we talked about this, Nate, we were kind of, at least I remember, kind of like taking a breath in, being like, please don't slip any fall further. I think it was at like $79. It ended up slipping a little bit. I mean, I think that's going to happen. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's going to continue to happen. And yeah, just because the set's getting a little bit long in the tooth, we're coming to the end of RTN season. And
you say long in the tooth?
Yeah, long in the tooth, dude.
Okay, so for all of our listeners who aren't 853 years old, can you please explain what the hell long in the tooth is?
So yeah, it's just old as shit, dude. It's just old, man. It's old. It's yesterday's news. As much as, this set was a success, I think, a ringing success. I think it's a lot of fun to draft. There's some really cool cards in it, really did some cool stuff for the game. But, this is going to happen with every set. This will happen to Dust Till Dawn. It happened with Uprising, yada, yada, right? It's just going to happen. I think we're in kind of a lull with Fab 2. Last weekend of RTN are happening now. This is coming out on the 3rd, last Saturday for RTNs. So, and then after that, we're kind of like in a holding pattern until Dust Till Dawn comes out. So this makes sense, right?
I think we saw some stabilization, and we thought that it would maybe like finally settle around like the $80 mark in terms of EV when it kind of settled around Baltimore. But it's continued to slip, and we're like, when did this release? It was March? So we're like 2.5 months past release now. And we're still seeing a little bit of slippage. I think that after, like you said, like after this week, our tins will be done. No one will have any reason really to open Outsiders. Because there's a lot more kind of like, if you're a crackhead, and you just like the crack packs, I know there's a lot of you out there right now.
Yeah, I do it every Tuesday.
Yep, you do it every Tuesday. Some people do it in the privacy of their own basement, but you decide to live stream it.
Yeah.
But this is a set that is very fun to open, but it is not as rewarding with like the mega hits, like Dynasty mega hits. You've got Uprising with just like some absolute fire and a lot of different variations of fire. And I don't know. I think that the set, like, if we don't see a stabilization over the next month, it'll be a little bit concerning for Outsiders' future. I think it's one thing that they kind of like need to keep an eye on, is like making sure that they don't oversaturate the market with some of these 2.0 products. And something that I think we're going to look at later too, with like the difference between 2.0 and kind of that block 2 of products, and how they can manage the expectations in print runs, and how they've done a very good job so far. It's just like a little bit concerning to see like 2.5 months later, we really haven't seen stabilization yet.
Yeah, and to be fair to, if we're looking at 2.0 Outsiders Dynasty, they're sitting mid 70s as well, and they've kind of just chilled there. They pop up. I think they've popped up like a little bit here and there into the 80s, but then they come back down. So I mean, I don't know if I have enough data to sit here on and beat my chest and say like this is how it's gonna be, but it does look like it's settling into that mid 70, low to mid 70s range for EV on these. The again, I think we say this every week, but the nice thing about these numbers here for Outsiders, and which is different than the other two, well, a Dynasty not so much, but definitely different than Uprising, which was the first core set for Fab 2.0, is that the Majestics hold a huge slot in this EV value, which, oh man, Outsiders, maybe we'll have to take a look at that next Saturday, Nate. But yeah, Outsiders, it ain't 30% in the Majestics. You're looking at all dragons all the time.
I mean, Uprising.
Yes, Uprising, sorry. And yeah. Outsiders, it's Majestics are really, really pulling their weight here. You know, Codex of Frailty is still sitting at $46, I think, right now. It was insane. I pulled one on a side event draft in Pittsburgh, and I was like, oh my God, I just won this draft. It was nuts. It just like, it's, and like thinking back on it, it's like, oh yeah, that was just a non-foil Majestic. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was $40 in your pocket.
Yeah, I picked that and then played Ninja.
And I think that's like one of the, I mean, well, maybe we'll do like a special episode where I teach you how the draft too.
Yeah.
So you can win your RTN.
It's too late for me.
It's not. You got one this weekend.
Yeah, today when this episode's out.
Technically today. Yeah, we'll teach everybody late.
Yeah,
it's easy. Just Force Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with like the upcoming like ban and restricted announcement that will be coming before Dusk Till Dawn, if they hit Codex of Frailty, it is very scary for Outsiders' future.
Yeah, I think they understand that and realize they can't do that.
Yeah. Are you saying the Twitter mob won't get their way, Ted?
No, yeah, actually, yes, I'm saying that. There's like, I'll say it right now, there's a 0% chance Frailty gets hit.
Ooh.
0.
Hot Take Express.
Yes, it will be another one of Lexi's cards that gets taken away from her. 100%.
I think that they will hit either Falcon Wing or Infecting Shot, and I hope they only restrict it to just Lexi.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
A lot of Lexi's power comes from both of those cards.
Yeah.
Infecting Shot is just kind of like an insane card in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on Outsiders. I imagine it sits around here. Man, I hope next week when we look, it doesn't slip further towards 70. And if it does, I hope in the future we see it just kind of balance at 70. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. All right, next set. A little bit more happy news here. Crucible of War. This set's this set is just solid. The thing to point out here, it did go up, $120 a box. Expected EV. The thing to watch out for is the Fabled and the Legendaries, which basically is Tunic. Shiana, I'm sure, holds some value. I honestly don't even know the value of Shiana. I should have probably looked that up, but I'm sure Tunic is still at 200-ish. So, you got 15% there. You got another 12%-ish in the Fabled. It's propping it up a little bit, but like overall, I mean, you see the Majestics still kind of holding their weight in this set as well.
I'm like, just like everything in this set is valuable, right? Like even the Rainbow Foil Commons, which I think we might have like a little bit misrepresented because it's hard to like pull out the weapons when we're like aggregating this data.
Yeah, that 45% kind of sticks out. I didn't even notice that until now. Oof.
It's likely a Rainbow Foil weapon got bought out. but still, like the rainbow foil weapons are valuable, like rainbow foil rune chance, rainbow foil Ira.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of rainbow foil commons that are valuable. It's the least printed set in Flesh and Blood, and it's a slapper. Look at that! Look at that beautiful pie chart. Who's gonna
Mm-hmm.
argue with that? It's just like value across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Crew has always been my like favorite set to open.
Yeah, it's yeah, like that's a good point, Nate. The pie chart is very equal. There's not a lot of slivers. There obviously the commons we just mark at a bulk price, so don't look at that sliver. But pretty equal across the board. You mentioned Rune Chance, which is interesting, right? Is like the only place to get foil Rune Chance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of them for like $1 a piece. So if you're like opening crew, you're not going to find a ton of them, but like just getting one, it's like Michael Fang always says when he opens a Sync or a Fate, right? It's a little coupon code, $1 off your box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a
Yep.
bunch of those in there, right? And which is really good. So yeah, I think crew's just solid. I think before we started recording, we were talking about, just some cards in here that could just pop off out of nowhere. Rune Blood Barrier never has ever seen play, I don't think. But
No, yeah.
it only takes like a certain build of Inset, right? And then all of a sudden you're looking at a $15 Majestic. Dread Triptych is in this set as well,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I started saying it and I was like, wait, shit, is that an arc? But no, Dread Triptych's in this set as well. They saw some play in Viz, but it's in and out at the moment, I think, in competitive Viz. But again, as soon as it finds a home, either in Viz or Vincet, because Viz will get support, it'll pop off again. And 10-15 bucks.
So like the game I played, the card game I played before Flesh and Blood was actually Dragon Ball Super, which is like a very weird switch. But it's also a non-rotating game. And I started playing in set 12 of Dragon Ball Super. And every time a new set came out or like a new deck kind of became like one of the top decks, there was always like a random card from set 4, set 5, set 2 that like was completely unplayable basically from the set release, but all of a sudden it randomly got like super popular in a Goku archetype. And it's like because there's only 5 characters in Dragon Ball Super, like 20% of the cards are named Goku. So it randomly got good. But I think that Flesh and Blood, as we continue to expand and grow, you'll see that randomly these cards in older sets will get just like
Yeah.
randomly spike because
It doesn't
the
feel
people
like
who
that right now, Nate, because I think it's still new. Yes, we're
yeah
like
yeah
going into our 10th set, which like you're talking about 12 to 4. But like
yeah
I think we're still, how do I put this? Or what am I trying to say? So WTR is still super, like Black Border is still out there, right? There's still cases, there's still boxes. It's like it just feels recent, where like I think in 5 years you will see like random cards from crew just be like, oh yeah, remember Rune Blood Barrier? Now it's playable in this new Rune Blade. And instead of 25 cents, it's like $10.
yeah exactly. And like as Ted always says, like you can always tell someone's a peasant because there's so much black border around that like if they have white border, pooh!
Yeah. Ew. Ew.
I'm just memeing. I actually just sleeve up white border just to try to troll people. Um, but I think looking at especially the original 3 block, like that is the thing that I'm looking at in the future is like what will drive some of these like EV movements because in the chart that we're going to look at later, it's been very steady for crew. It's just
Mm-hmm.
a steady growth because the set is the least printed set in Flesh and Blood and has some of the best cards and best equipment in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump to the third set here. So Arcane Rising, a little bit of a bump down here. Box value is still sitting at 123, which is pretty solid.
Yep.
Majestics hold a decent chunk of the value there. Rainbow foil Majestics as well. You're starting to see those cards get bought out. Also, Command and Conquer Art of War help prop that number up as well.
Yeah.
And then your legendaries come in at just over 19%. So yeah, not as pretty pie chart with Arcane Rising. A little bit more of a risk to open. You're boomer bust on these older sets, especially the core sets. But I thought it was interesting to take a look at this because Runeblade is being targeted as as Vincent gets closer, people are starting to grab those cards again, right? And I think we're starting to see, I think it's just holding Arcane value high.
Mhm.
And Rangers too. Rangers and Runeblades are kind of just keeping that expected value up.
Yeah, and this is the one set that people say is like one of the hardest to get, and it's been very hard to get at a reasonable price for a while. And everyone's kind of like looking at Hobbiesville, like it's
Yeah.
like the rich uncle that everyone's just like waiting to die. That's Hobbiesville for everyone who's like they're
Yeah.
looking at like the first three sets, like, is he dead yet? Is he dead yet? Is he dead? And they're just waiting for them to be out of stock of these sets, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be a frenzy when it finally does happen. So like I think that as soon as Hobbyville runs out of stock for Arcane Rising, which Arcane Rising and CRU they've got to be running low on, it
Yeah.
will be an absolute insanity.
Yeah.
That's the next thing that spurs this market. Like everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a low, and it's like this is like this is a great time to because it's quiet. This is the great time to kind of like slowly and quietly accumulate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As the market kind of takes its breath and waits for dusk till dawn, keep
Mhm.
an eye out for those value cards, right?
Mhm.
The stuff as it bumps down, pick it up at a spot that you like it at, and you likely won't be too mad about that. Yeah, you mentioned Hobbiesville. There was some discussion about it running out a couple months ago, and then all of a sudden it popped in a huge amount more. I mean, it's hard. And what I'm talking about is literally going in and just like trying to max out their cart and see what that number is. So it's like pretty iffy. But yeah, when that happens, because like as far as I know, they're kind of like the last bastion for these like first sets. WTR is going to be around for a while. We know the print run. Yeah, the print run was pretty high on that. So, but these other two, yeah, watch out for that.
It is like in the US at least, it's either the faucet is off or the trickle is like like you might be able to get like one or two boxes. I know like my
Yeah.
local is like every once in a while he'll be like, I can get 2 boxes of CRU today, and he can get 2 boxes of
Wow.
CRU. But like he hasn't been able to get Arcane Rising in forever.
Yeah. I feel like it's going on 8 months or something, right?
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
that long. So it's yeah, it's scarce out there. So
Hmm.
we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, this set, boomer bust. You hit the right legendary, you hit the right majestics, you are golden, man. But other than that, if you don't, which I have, and boy, let me tell you, Arcane Rising, it can be painful.
You ain't wrong there.
Yep. All right, let's look at some like overall summaries of all the data we've taken. So we started in March, and this is just I wanted to take Box EV, chart it along time, and then compare block one and then block two. So right now we have on the left we have Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Crucible War. That's kind of the first. They might actually be called cycles technically. I wasn't sure. I called them blocks. But first two supplemental sets, and then first two core sets, then supplemental set, and then block two is again two core sets, one subset, right, with Everfest.
Yeah.
Starting on the left here, Nate, as you had mentioned, CRU has just kind of, yeah, there's peaks and valleys, but if you snap a trend line on there, it has been bumping up since we started, right? Going from 100 a box EV expected, value, up to that 120-ish mark as it sits right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great set.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is definitely the one that will just like continually like slowly creep up just because of the scarcity of those cards. And like when crew becomes to that point where it's like it doesn't even make sense to open these boxes anymore, I think that's when white border actually starts to get opened. Like HP1, I think, is a product that came too soon.
Yeah.
I think we missed the mark by like a year maybe on that one
Yeah,
because I
but
just
I
think
think
it was
LSS, sorry to cut you off there, but I just wanted to add the note that I think LSS saw the writing on the wall that they needed to show the plan. Because imagine if they didn't release HP1 and white border and like show that plan with actual paper cards until like a month from now. Dude, people would be, I think the market would be insane.
yeah, I think it's definitely held this. I think it's held these products a little bit more in check because it gives some of these people who are like they want the cheapest possible version of a card. It gives them an outlet for that version of the card where otherwise they're forced into these products, which is just going to push their like values higher because
Mhm.
you add like how many people do you think are using like white border grasp right now? My guess is it's over 100 easily.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so
but
the
like you think
thing,
about like look at the TCG player market right now. There isn't 100 rainbow foil grasp available on TCG player.
yeah. So the problem with what you were saying, like it came too early, which I agree. Technically, it probably did come too early. But I also think that LSS did the right thing by just showing us that it exists and that's the plan, because it, like you said, keeps these sets in check. But because it came too early, you now have like white border tunics. I haven't looked lately, but like a white border tunic is like within $50 or less than a rainbow foil or a crew neck, which is, when you look at that and you're a new player, you say automatically like, well, the system failed. This tunic should be half the price of the black border ones, right? Or some number lower. It, like, a lot of the white border cards are very close to their black border counterparts because nobody's opening them. There's just
So
not enough on the market, I think.
I agree with that. Like like there's not people who are like I'm gonna crack HP1.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You need stores to
the,
open this stuff, like at
it's,
bulk, like a
yeah,
pallet of it
insistent.
at a time. Because
Yeah,
I've opened HP1 foreign cards, and outside of the, I'll just keep beating this drum. Outside of the Marvels and the Rainbow Foil Fableds, which you have to pull those out of the white border boxes, there's no reason the correlation should be any different, in my opinion. They're numbered the same, right? The cards have the same HP1000 card numbers. So yeah, the collation is going to be slightly different because they got to add in some fancy cards for the foreign labels. But dude, when you open HP1, it gets wild quick. Let me tell you. Like, I had 2 boxes last Tuesday. Marvel Dash, throw that out. Very cool though. But in 2 boxes, tech plating, tunic, 2 Art of Wars, and a Command and Conquer, and then like 13 or 15 other Majestics. Like, their various range of playability. But just think of that in 2 boxes, man. Like, if someone opened that at mass, they would get a lot of hits. But as soon as someone does that, it's not like the price is going down, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's not
The,
going to
the,
be like this. It's not going to be like $80 for a white border Command and Conquer and 100 for black border. It'll be like 50 then, right?
yeah, and I think like now that we're like talking through it too, I'm actually I think I've changed my mind. I think it was actually perfect timing because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't release it then, like think about how Like think about where the prices would have gone.
150 Command and Conquers,
Oh,
350 Tunics.
there's so many people playing White Border Command and Conquers. Like
That's
I,
probably the most played white border card, right?
Mhm. And so I bought a collection, and like what's funny is like some of the White Border cards I've listed just like they go.
Mm.
Like I listed a White Border Command and Conquer, it sold in a day. I listed a White Border Medic Harvest Nodes, it sold in a day.
Yeah, but
Um,
the like, do you remember what the difference was between the black border and the white border when you sold it? Because every time I look, and I should have done more research. I didn't think we are going to talk about this tonight, but every time I look, I always look at it and be like, man, the white border price is not low enough. Like it's crazy to me that they're holding so much value just because it's like a rare card. It's like it's not
I,
rare. It shouldn't be rare. It's just like we ain't there yet.
I think I sold my Command and Conquer for like 75, and
Yeah,
Command and
see,
Conquers were like 90. But like I think that goes to show that we are in a very like heavy players market.
mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
It's like the but also like no one's opening White Border because you look at some of the listings and there's like four. It's like there's
Yeah,
four cards listed.
yeah.
It just doesn't exist because it's like not. I
Doesn't
think it's
need to
because
be
block
opened,
one
right?
exactly. I think block one has not gotten expensive enough for like people to start being like, you know what, I should actually just crack HP1. But I think for like new players, like they're looking like what set should I buy? You should buy HP1.
Yeah,
100%. Like you're gonna get more of the cards that you actually want and need, and you're gonna get a wider swath of cards
yeah,
from HP1.
yep.
But I think
Yeah, I
that like
agree. Like if you look, go and circle back into the charts that we're looking at, um, you know, what I'll say is you can see WTR is kind of falling down a little bit. Arcane Rising is just like holding steady, kind of flat right at that 130-ish mark EV.
mhm.
Box prices are like 130, 135. Now that's too expensive. Like that's getting borderline like oof. Like unless you're a collector, in my opinion, for an unlimited product, I wouldn't go out and be like, oh, I'm gonna crack Arcane Rising. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so, we're getting close, but we're just not there yet. But I commend LSS for. I think they probably knew they were gonna take one on the shins with HP1 white border. Like just because it feels early, and I think a lot of people I talk to, and I have this spiel with when I talk to people in person, I have this spiel with them as well, is that, and I try to convince them that like, no, give it time. It's just like a show of like, hey, we're doing this thing. Just come along with us.
I retract my previous statement. HP1 is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came at the perfect time. I think it is a well designed product, and it is not only ready for when these things get too expensive, it's already there, and it's already kind of stemming kind of the rocket ship of these older products too, right?
Yep.
Which is like it allows people because I know like talking to like Roger Bodie, like he bought like a case of WTR that he has sitting in his basement, not as like an investment, unlimited by the way, but like he just wants to be able to like draft this later. He talked about it on the Manor podcast, but
Mm-hmm.
like he's not looking at it as this like speculative investment that's going to be worth $1
Yeah.
million one day. He's looking at it as like I really like drafting WTR. This is in my basement now, and for when it gets too expensive and I can't just go to the store and buy it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's, and I also think that that is what like long term, if we're looking out 5 years, I think that we will see the chart of WTR, maybe not the EV of WTR, but I
Yeah.
think the
Sealed
box,
boxes
I think the sealed boxes
because
of
it.
WTR will outpace ARC from today moving
Yeah, it's a
forward.
wonderful draft experience compared to Arc. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
guess. Great.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to tie this conversation up in a bow before we move on to the block two and those points we want to make, um, white border or HP1 white border was necessary to be launched for the success of Fab 2.0. Like it was a big part of the Fab 2.0 announcement, right? It It was like right around that same time. It might have been in the same article. I'm not 100% on that, but it's very close together. And I think, yeah, again, they just had to do that at the same time. And I think they're not dumb. I think James White knows this, and the team there knew that it was like, okay, we don't need this yet, but we're going to print some of it and put it out in the wild just to show people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of like Everfest Unlimited.
Yeah, that's being used to like, there's some guy in a warehouse using that as like a nap shelter. He's like got boxes all over him. He's like hiding from his manager, sleeping on that.
Have you seen Timmy?
Something. Nope.
No.
Go check
no,
the Unlimited.
It's
like
Everfest Unlimited? No, I ain't going near that.
No. That's been sitting there for ages. It's all dusty.
no one would get close to that Everfest Unlimited.
The workers going in, yeah, they just crack some packs on the toilet. Like, oh, what do I get today? Oh, rainbow foil potion of luck. Throw that in the toilet. We can only hope. Please never release that.
And we're off the rails.
Yeah. It's officially 30 minutes in, folks.
Yep. Well, thank you all for continuing to watch.
Yeah.
I hope you stick with us through the rest of this utter nonsense.
Yeah, if you've made it this far, leave a comment below about what you would like to open up on the John. Would that be a rainbow foil stalagmite or rainbow foil?
Dude, you know what mine is? This is for Kiwi Boo. It's Marvel Celestial Kimono. That card on
That's
the John.
that's not in the set.
Don't care. I'm opening that on the John, and I'm gonna put it straight in the toilet where it belongs because that card is freaking garbage.
Oh man, now we're getting into some deep cuts. All right, Nate, we okay. Well, we gotta shape up here. So block 2 here. Lot of lines on this chart because we're looking at first edition and unlimited and Everfest. So for Monarch and Tails here. I think when I see this chart, Nate, and again, it's only 3 months of data. It's going to be really interesting when we get 6 months of data, 8 months of data. Then we can really make some analysis on it. But up front, this again, while I'm just talked about Fab 2.0, I think this chart shows why Fab 2.0 needed to happen.
Yeah.
If I'm going to just like say a huge bold statement on 3 months of data, I would say that like, man, $50 a box estimated value is just like, yeah, it's rough, man. Like it's hard to stomach. And I think they saw this coming too.
And I think like if you look at it, like obviously Mon first just like kind of like mooned and then like really fell off last week. But I think that like we kind of knew that this retracement was coming, but it hasn't retraced all the way back to where it was.
Yeah.
And I think that we might see some more upticks now that we've seen a big retracement. But you look at like the thing that I'm looking at is Tails first and Tails Unlimited. Like God help Tails Unlimited.
Yeah. We didn't talk about it, but it lost another 10% this week in estimated value. Yikes.
New Horizon, Spellbound Creepers, end of set, basically.
Yeah.
Half the set's LL.
Yeah.
Like
it's nuts.
We need to return the Arya ASAP because that baby ain't even on life support. That's got its grave dug and
yeah, it's laying in it.
And like we need a goddamn like freaking M. Night Shyamalan like resurrection over here for these like.
Yeah, for sure.
It even after like the spike of those cards too, it's just like it's falling. Everything's falling, and it's also because Channel Lake Frigid is like way down.
Yeah, Channel Lake was kind of a shining star, and it took its lumps recently as well. You know what's interesting too is that you see Mon first just sitting way above everybody, going crazy. Again, this chart is a little bit deceiving because it's only 3 months of data. If we could have like scaled out that Mon first line to like 8 months previous, right? that would be down like under 100, like $80 a box.
Oh yeah.
It was looking, and then Dust Till Dawn was like pseudo announced or soft announced by James right before Worlds, and you kind of see what's happened to it, right? So yeah, like you said, we need to return to Aria. We need that to happen, folks. Like, so I mean, it's dead right now, but there's always hope in this game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because of the non-rotating format, like these sets, while good Lord help it now, we're gonna go back to Aria at some point. So like there's gonna be a revisiting of all of these talents, and they will make sure that the set doesn't just like die on the operating table. I do want to call it like Mod Unlimited also popping up, kind of like it's kind of like stuck in the weeds there with all the other sets, but that's definitely been moving upwards.
Yeah.
And then Everfest, little engine that could.
Yeah, just hanging out, dude.
I mean, Stalagmite got banned, so that ain't great for it. But the L slot wasn't returning anything anyways. But I just it's so hard for me to see that set like ever getting above 80 because Silver Palms and Stalagmite are just active duty, and Skullcap ain't it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, it's
PvE
tough.
is going to be a safe set, really.
Yeah. If PvE happens and it's like you need those things, oh boy.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, the people that are going to be playing PvE, I feel like the Venn diagram, the middle part is like PvE player and like cold foil potions and trinkets, and like the middle part is like players, like those players. Like I think those two circles overlap quite a bit. So like, yeah, I think you see a lot of Everfest being cracked at that time. So next year maybe.
Yep.
But okay, Nate. Let's wrap it there. We did a little bit of rambling like we always do. It's the hangover from the live stream. A little
bit. It's because it's freaking 10:15 at night, and I'm an old ass man.
Yeah. I'm feeling it a little bit too. So
we went to Little Mermaid tonight, so we were recording a little later than usual, which is why we're a little goofier than usual.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's what the fans come here to watch.
Yes, 100%.
Yep. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Peace. Please subscribe. Please.
Oh, we didn't do the buy list. You buying anything this week, Ted?
No.
I gotta lead on some cold foil snappies. We'll see if I pull the trigger.
Oh, you finally did it.
It's a little bit. I don't have good pictures, and it's a little bit more than what I want to spend.
Well, that ship's already sailed on you, bud.
I know, it really has. I just need to give up hope.
Pay more. Get them now because they're going up. Jokes aside, at Pittsburgh, I traded in my Tales of Adventure, the rainbow foil from Worlds, turned it into a cold foil Plague Hive. So now I only have of the attainable cold foil legendaries. I am a library away from having.
Everything's obtainable, Ted.
No, bro. Heart and Shard a little bit more attainable, but like those three are kind of like okay, Looney Tunes. That's like no. But
you got a kidney, don't you?
Yeah, just cut that sucker out. But yeah, so I upgraded to a cold foil. It's very sweet cold foil, by the way.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool. That's the buy list. We did it.
Oh, that was